Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk to you about how you can use ChatGPT to help you craft personas for your products. You will learn how to create personas and extend them, and then use them to identify user needs. Mind you, ChatGPT is not a replacement for talking to real users. So, how can ChatGPT help you craft your personas? Start by telling it to act as a user researcher. This helps it understand the context of what you're looking for. Ask for the number of personas that you want and provide as much or as little detail as you'd like, and let it know what you'll be using the personas for. Here, I asked it to create 5 personas, and I only gave high-level details for 3 of them. I told it that one is a person who uses it to get to work for a daily commute. Was the second one? I know those sound very similar, but we'll see what it does with that. And then for the third, I described an occasional user without any further detail. Last, I provided the context that this is for a transit app. So let's see what it did. So remember, I asked for someone who takes transit to work, a commuter, and an occasional user, and I asked for 5 personas. And it brought back Sarah, who takes transit every day to get to work, Jason, who is a student who takes it into the campus every day. It made up a really interesting persona, Elena, who's a tourist. It also brought in another really interesting one, a senior citizen named George. And lastly was freelancer Amanda, who is sometimes using the transit system in order to meet with her clients or to go to co-working spaces. So I thought this was a pretty interesting start. And we're going to dig down a little bit deeper, starting with Elena. So there's 2 ways to get more information out of ChatGPT. One, you can feed it a little bit more information that you're aware of. And if you've done your user research, you could add some details that you have from talking with your users. Or sometimes you just have an idea in your head, like I did here. I thought about the fact that as a tourist, wayfinding can be a little bit intimidating and scary. And so I added to this persona by telling ChatGPT that Elena has a bad sense of direction and she's afraid of getting lost. This brought out some really interesting things, including that Elena needs clear instructions for transfers, step-by-step directions, real-time journey tracking, safety tips, and recommendations for avoiding dangerous areas. What was nice about this is now she has a clearly defined goal that she wants to feel confident while exploring and using public transit. Really cool stuff. Let's move on to the next one. I thought George was another really interesting persona as a senior citizen using transit. And in this particular case, instead of feeding in additional information, I just asked ChatGPT, tell me more about what George needs in a transit app. It had already defined some interesting needs for him around accessibility, understanding if there's wheelchair ramps, and being able to make purchases from his phone and whether there were senior discounts available to him. With the additional questions, it brought up that he needs an accessible user interface with large buttons and large text that he can readily see. And that he may want to know about not just accessibility features, but also things like where steps might be located so that he could avoid them. He also had a need for safety features that the bot identified, and this was a little bit different than Elena's needs. In this case, George was a little bit afraid of things like having a fall and needing some sort of panic button to be able to reach out for help. So that was really cool stuff. So in this back and forth, very rapidly, I have a full set of features for a transit app with real-time transit information, including schedules, delays, and route changes, the ability to buy transit tickets from a phone, and ChatGPT also brought up being able to send a notification that a particular ticket would be expiring within a particular time frame. Location-based information on restaurants, and for the freelancer, things like information on co-working spaces that are nearby or coffee shops. And for the tourist, having being able to surface notable tourist areas or things that you would want to go see as a tourist in a particular area. We also have a need for advanced information on accessibility issues like wheelchair ramps and elevators. Location-based senior discounts was one of the things that came up. Safety tips for the tourists, and a panic button. And this is actually a really nice feature set for a transit application. And it's something that I think I would enjoy using my own self. So in conclusion, ChatGPT can be a helpful tool to develop personas and identify user needs. It's not a substitute for user research, but through that conversational dialogue, it can enhance a team's understanding of users and their needs. If you found this deck helpful, give it a like. I'm Kayla Black. These days I am living in a world of wonder. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, and if you want to hear about any other topics around emerging technologies and UX, let me know. Bye bye for now.